It was leaked that we'll be getting more Novaflares in 4.2, with the list of characters surprising a lot of people. Now, with Ashveil's kit though, I think some of them make a lot more sense. Ashveil has several problems. First, he's a sub-DPS releasing without his dedicated main DPS. That's not really as bad as it can sound. Since his own multipliers are pretty broken, he can perform fine by himself, just like Anaxa or Evernight. But it does make rolling for him a bit awkward when his future is a big question mark and he has a massive hole in his team with no one able to help fix and minimise his other flaws. Namely, that for a follow-up character, he actually has a lot of difficulty performing very many attacks. His follow-up attacks require charges, and the only way for him to get them is with his skill, burst, and with kills. So, in current teams, he actually runs out of charges pretty quickly, depending on the team and everything, of course, because he kind of has anti-synergy with the rest of his path and role at the moment. Hunt characters hardly ever have any self-action advance, and he's no different, and he wants to be a sub-DPS, so using an advancer like Sunday and forcing him into a hyper-carry team isn't what he's designed around, and isn't very interesting either, really. Kind of wastes half his kit with the team buffs and everything. And the only other alternative is frequently killing enemies as a hunt character that specialises in single target. But wait a minute, who's that getting buffed in the patch after his release? A main DPS of the same single target path who is also extremely reliant on and built around killing blows? Seele seemed like a strange choice for a buff at this point, not because she doesn't need or deserve it, she absolutely does, but if anything because of the opposite. By leaving her and others so long, they've made clear that Novaflares don't really have anything to do with the overall strength of the character in the meta, but instead on who can fit in with and increase sales of the current meta. And so now Seele's buff makes sense. All she needs to pair with Ashveil is some of her kit being changed to count as follow-up attacks. For example, I could very easily see the extra turns she can gain being changed to just count as a follow-up attack, considering that, you know, they kind of are. That kind of makes sense. I can see it. Or just getting them added entirely to her kit, a whole new thing in animation, but that seems unlikely, of course. They have to actually then make new animations and, yeah, small indie developer. But with any kind of small change in that direction, all of the sudden she can help contribute to the new character's sales. You no longer have to worry about waiting like 6 months, say, for his main DPS. You can use him with a character that pretty much everybody has right now. Oh, you like Seele and have been making her work all this time as a dedicated main, or have been wishing that you could? Well, roll the new character, he makes her good. Heck, you even just want to make your lost 50/50s have some value? Get Ashveil. But she's not the only one that makes sense now, because the other way he can gain charges and keep the follow-up attacks coming is with energy. His burst gives him 2 charges, and so anybody that can feed him energy while still somewhat fitting into a team of his can potentially massively help his game plan. I already thought we were probably going in this direction with Yao Guang's energy issues, but Ashveil just makes it pretty concrete and clear and makes H2O a perfect buff candidate despite still being one of the strongest unbuffed 1.x characters. It just seems like they're going to be releasing a lot of characters who really want energy and don't quite get enough by themselves. Obviously as set up for some future new energy support or something, but in the meantime, why not buff the old character that can do that? For all the flaws of Novaflare as a system so far, and its rarity and its choices and who to buff and everything, the one thing I can't complain about with the game in general really, is that they thankfully don't just replace characters entirely. If there's an old character who has a specific role and job, they don't seem to want to just release a replacement for them. A new sustain that gives the team even more energy. A new dot detonator or enabler or a new skill point support. They thankfully, for all of our sanity, just go back and buff the existing character who is supposed to be able to do that again. That still leaves the other two Novaflares a bit of a question mark and out of left field. Who knows what they're going to do with Welt? There's quite a lot of things he could do and holes he could be intended to fill. Acheron, Dot, Sustain, or most likely, considering it's a new character, Nihilux. Assuming they are Nihility as their name suggests. And Firefly, I don't know, I think that's maybe just favoritism, I don't know at this point. But if they are going to release any new Break characters, I can see the need. Like I talked about in my last video, Firefly's kit and existence as a character does kind of leave Break as an archetype with no real future as she is, since no one is going to roll any other Break character when they can just use their already invested OP Firefly that they love as a character as well. So giving Firefly a buff and also giving her an actual niche and distinct role within Break that leaves something open for future characters could make sense. But I don't know, I'm excited to find out. Hopefully, most of all, they keep up this pace for Novaflares and we keep getting some every couple of patches. I think that's about all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this video turned out okay, since I've had to leave a lot of it unscripted, since I'm just so busy at the moment trying to work on and finish my video explaining the entire Fate franchise on my other channel, but I think it works fine. I scripted the most important parts. Until hopefully next time, bye.